Hi and welcome. Today we're going to put together a birdie bed. This is Janet at Janet's Kitchen Garden. All right, we're going to put together our birdie bed today. The one that you see here laid out is what is called the original 6-in-1, and they call it the 6-in-1 because these pieces can be used to make any one of these 6 designs. I have chosen to do the square here because it fits the best in my garden space, because I'll have multiple beds of this size and shape. So what's included in this box, and this is the box, you can see how small it is, come all of these pieces plus your instructions. And the important thing, one of the big important things on this sheet of paper, one of the first things it tells you, wear gloves. So wear gloves. I also wear my safety glasses because that's just me. So also inside are all the bolts and screws and a little tightening wrench. And there's also this banding that you slide down over the top of the bed once it's complete. Now each one of these pieces, to protect them in shipping, are covered in this plastic film, which you just peel away. Okay, and not sure if it's recyclable. I'm going to check on that. All right, it's time to start building. Okay, I'm done. You saw really how quick and easy that was. One of the things that makes it easier for you to assemble is to do it on a relatively level place. You know, that's why I chose to do the tables. And as I put in my bolts and my nuts, I started first with the top, did the bottom, then the center, and then the 2 in-betweens. And now I'm only tightening the nuts finger tight, and this allows the panels to kind of shift a little as you put each one in. If you made it super tight from the get-go, it couldn't move and adjust itself so that all the panels were able to go in even and level. So when you go to tighten, use your little birdie provided little wrench, fit it over the nut. Take your driver set with a Phillips head, have your torque at around a 9, and you just want to snug those nuts down. Okay, it's time to put the banding around the top, and it's pinched tighter, of course, at the bottom, and you just kind of have to work it over. Probably the more difficult place to get it over is on the seams, but you just kind of have to wiggle a little bit, and it will go over. There we go. And it just pops on. Now again, just like the screws and the bolts and the nuts, there's more here than you're going to need. So you're going to need something that you can make a sharp cut when you get around to the very end. Sometimes this, you gotta fiddle with it a little. If you get it, there we go. Now, as you can see, I've ended up with more than I really need. So I have this handy dandy little multi-cut 3-in-1 cutting tool. It's very sharp, and I'm just going to use this, going to line it up. And then cut. There we go. All right, my birdie bed is complete. Let me move my apple box, and then soaking wet. We've had rain all week here in Dallas. Just going to lift it up and carry it. This is where it's going to go. And now what I'll do is just dig around so I can seat this down to the bottom of the bark mulch and make it level, and then mix my soil, put it in, and plant it. Okay, when creating the beds, when we build the bed or put one bed together like in the birdies, the soil that goes in is just not bags of dirt. Okay, we do use bags of dirt, but there's a lot of other things we mix in. The main base of the beds, the soil, is Mayer's Raised Bed and Garden soil. I buy this over at North Haven. It's a local company out of Fort Worth. I'll put a link to all of these products I'm going to talk about in the descriptions. We also then put in a well composted chicken or cow manure, or it could be bat guano, just some kind of good high nitrogen firing component. Then we also add in peat moss. And the reason we put the peat moss in is that when the peat moss gets wet, it swells and it will hold on to that moisture content. And as the soil dries out around it, it dries and kind of releases a bit of that moisture back in. It also aerates bed and also helps drain. So peat moss is real important. Another thing we use that I feel is very important is the dry, this is dry molasses. And it is exactly what it says it is. And what dry molasses is for is that the helpful fungi and other nutrients in the soil feed on this molasses. So you're feeding the beneficial microbes basically in your soil. The other thing that we use on the top is a product called Mykos, and it's a Mycorrhizal inoculant. Can't really pronounce it very well. I'm going to bring it closer to camera so you can see it. And what this is, it's a natural and it's an organic beneficial soil fungi, and it collects and stores nutrients in the soil that the plants feed upon. It's really good stuff. So use it too. Also, I got this on Amazon, and there'll be a link for it too below. So now we're going to go on over, take a look at the birdie bed. I did want to show you this real quick. The box from My Birdie Bed, you can see the photographs and the sizes of the different configurations. This is the one that I chose to do that's right here. I do want to point out an interesting thing though, and this small, which I think that is it, this small little one could be built and used on a patio for an apartment or a little terrace at a townhouse. As long as you put a bottom in it, you can do that as a container grown, and you can grow vegetables in containers. These are potatoes and they're in a container. I have carrots in a flower pot. So don't let space deter you from gardening. Let's go on over to the west bed. Japanese maple, where are my finches? I hear them. We keep disturbing them. Okay, we're here in the west garden area. This is the bed we made yesterday and filled. I've got lemon thyme planted in here. I took it out of a pot. It was root bound. I would either have had to divide it or plant it in the ground as is, so that's what I did. Also a little zucchini squash that's been waiting to get into the ground. I wanted to use one of the birdies for it, so it's in. You can see that I've already put my a little layer of pine straw on here. The one area that's not covered in pine straw, we have a jet going overhead, but that's typical for the morning. There are carrots planted here. I put the Uzbek gold in here, and I will not cover that with pine straw until they're all up and growing. They do not like having anything impede them breaking ground. I've also got lettuce mix in here and basil. Right behind me is the first 6-in-1 I had gotten, and it has strawberries in it and also a lettuce mix. I put this hardware cloth fencing around it because of the bunnies. They will absolutely eat my strawberries to the ground. They've already done it once. Now, I did mention about the 8-in-1 that Epic Gardening offers in the Birdie Bed, and this is the first one I got. I got it this past fall, late summer, and I chose to do it in this long configuration. It's about 2 feet wide, and I believe it's like 103 inches long. Everything that's in here has been planted since January: potatoes, lettuce, carrots, and I just keep harvesting. It actually made it through the February week of frost. I just covered it up. And this hoop top here that Bill built the frame, I did the hoop, and you can tell I did it and not Bill because it's a little wanky. But this is also a good shape, and it also can use the pieces to make 8 different shapes. But for my space, I think the 6-in-1 is going to be my favorite. I'm going to put 3 more in this bed. And let me just say this, that at the price of lumber, if we use rough cedar, the price of the rough cedar, a good rough cedar, and all the hardware, and the time it takes to build the bed, this seems to be a much more cost-effective and time-effective method for raised bed gardening. I was done, let's see, I think it took me 15 minutes to put all the bolts and nuts in, and then another 20 minutes to get my dirt in, another 15 to plant it, and I was done. So you're basically looking at maybe 2 hours max from start to finish. That's pretty good. So anyway, that's it for today. I want to thank you guys for being here. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell for future notifications so that you'll know when I put in new videos. Check out the description section because that's where all my links will be to different products I've talked about today, to Epic Gardening for their page on Birdie Beds. So that's it for now. Janet from Janet's Kitchen Garden saying, see you next time.